Okay guys, so today is the day that I'm going to start on the process of building my new garage. 40 by 60, 16-foot walls. So I'm a little hesitant on showing you guys all this junk back here. This has been just sort of the place where we fire things and get them out of the way for the rest of the property. And in general, this is just a place that while I was moving over here, I could put all this stuff over here and just get it out of sight, out of mind. I've accumulated a lot of stuff lately, and I just need to, in general, clean all this stuff up. So the garage is going to go right here. So there's all this stuff that we got to get out of here. So this video is pretty much going to be dedicated to moving everything out of here, moving that big 53-foot trailer out of here, getting all this junk cleaned up. And the way I'm going to approach this is over here. There's a spot where there's really nothing but just dirt and overgrown grass and stuff. And this is just piles of fill that I brought over from digging out my pond for the geothermal loop. There's the other pond that was existing on the property when we got it. So the first thing I need to do is make some room to put all this stuff. So I'm going to take all these piles, push them all over to that side. I'm going to form a massive pile over there of just fill for the future. For next year, I'm going to be doing a lot of work to my driveway, and I'm going to need a lot of fill over there. So in the meantime, there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands of yards of fill stacked up in a big heaping pile way back there. So I'm going to take all this fill here, push it over to there first, get this all nice and flat. There's a whole bunch of space over there that you can't even see because it's just overgrown grass. And then just in general, everything from this trailer over to that pond and that way. This is going to be the place where I'm going to neatly put machines and other stuff that I'm saving. And then that gets it out of the way for over there. And then I can actually do the site work later on for this garage. But right now I need to get everything moved out of the way. And also I'm going to take this 53-foot trailer. I'm going to bring that up to the top field. And there's a bunch of, I keep metal scraps underneath there, mostly steel. So we got to get that out of there. There's like plumbing supplies and all kinds of stuff like that. We got to get all that out of there. In here is mostly work materials and tools, ladders, extra windows from jobs, tons of wood, concrete blankets, scaffolding, just all kinds of stuff. What's unfortunate about this area is I actually cleared this out with the dozer and I laid some geofabric and then I put some crusher run on top, but you can see it's still growing all kinds of weeds through it, which that's what I was trying to avoid. So I didn't have this where you didn't even want to go back here because it was just overgrown, but it just happened anyways. And that was only 2 years ago and it's grown all this stuff. I think it's the crusher run. It has too many fines in it. It grows weeds on top of it, not through it, but on top of it. So the edge of the garage is going to go right about here. There's a boundary, and that's that apple tree. I don't want to get rid of that apple tree. Everything else is fair game. I can go wherever I want, but that apple tree, I don't want to impede on that. So if the edge of the building is here, I need at least to that trailer to be wide open space on that side for the concrete trucks and just in general telehandler for constructing the building. And then over here, I have a bunch of machines here that I need to bring over to there. And then there's also some junk stuff like this truck. I just took the back frame off of it and used it on my truck. So we need to disassemble some stuff on that, junk, machines that you guys haven't even seen yet. I gotta work on those in the future, but then we got some more junk vehicles back there. I've just been sort of saving up some scrap steel, so we'll take that all to the scrap yard pretty soon here. So like I said, there's some stuff that you guys haven't even seen yet, but the whole goal is to get this garage. And with 40 by 60, I can put several projects in there at once and work on different things throughout the night and throughout the winter. And because it gets dark at like 4 o'clock, starting pretty soon here. So if I can get this garage built pretty soon, then I can work on a whole bunch of projects inside of that garage. So I'm not even going to do the site work for the garage in this video. It's mainly going to be the site work to do the site work. So I know that sounds crazy, but there's just a lot of work over here that needs to be done before I even start digging for the foundation for this garage. Normally with a project like this, my goal would be to start out with the hardest and the most tedious and time-consuming things that are not fun, and then finish with the things that are fun. But in this case, we need to get an area cleared over here to put stuff. So I guess we got to start out with the fun stuff first, which is using the dozer, pushing everything that way. I do like having things cleaned up nice and organized and neat, and I will get to that point very soon here. And once this garage is all done, on the side and on the back of it, I'm gonna stack machines one after another, nice and neat all around it. But I gotta get all this stuff out of the way to do this project. I gotta have lots of room to work all the way around. So that is the story. I'm sure the dozer could handle this task, these piles are a little bit tall, and what happens is I'm just trying to push like 6 inches at a time. I angle the blade that way just a little bit just to kind of push it in front of my blade, and then I push it that way. The problem is this stuff is so tall that as I'm pushing it, stuff falls between the blade and the tracks, and then the machine is going like this the whole time. It just keeps going like this, and then I leave a whole bunch here. And also this stuff has a lot of clay and rocks in it, so it's not really ideal dirt to be pushing with the dozer. So what I'm going to do is take my big excavator, and I'm going to start over here and just start scooping it. And since I have a 30-foot reach, I can pretty much get 60 feet closer to my pile over there, and I can break this apart and make it a lower pile. Really, a foot or two tall is the ideal height for the dozer to push efficiently. So at least I can get it closer, flatten it out, loosen it up, and get it lower. So I got the main bulk of all those piles over there pushed over there. Now this new pile here is from over in that area. So this whole lane here is like 60 or 70 feet wide, but then over there it flutes out and it'll probably be 80, 90 feet wide, maybe even almost 100 feet from there to there. So that'll just give us more room to put stuff over there. But that means now I got to take all this and push it over there with the dozer too, which is quite a bit. What's what?
Dad, you move it
My
or they packed it?
My excavator?
Yeah.
I moved it.
You tricked me.
I tricked you?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I want to go in the excavator with you.
Oh, okay. Well, we can do that later. Right now the guys are here, so we gotta work.
Mom sent me over here to get Noah. It's a me, I'm Mickey Mouse. It's me, Mario. It's me, Mario. Boom, 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 boom. This is where the garage is gonna go?
No, this is where the equipment's gonna go.
So we're
While I'm building the garage.
What?
This is where the equipment's gonna go while I'm building the garage.
So where are you gonna put the garage?
The garage is gonna go over there.
I thought it was going right here.
No. This is where all the equipment's gonna go temporarily.
And then what are you gonna do right here?
And then this is gonna be a big, giant parking lot.
For what?
I don't know. Maybe I'll just grow grass here and it'll be another place like a field.
No, wait. You gotta clear this pond out. You gotta clear around this pond.
So I think the plan is gonna be, I'm gonna stack machines from there to there, line them up like that. And I'm gonna put them in order from ones that I'm gonna use to ones that I'm not gonna use or are not usable at the moment over there. So it'll be like dozer, excavator, telehandler, boom lift, skid steer, crane, other crane, and then it'll be broken skid steer, broken skid steer, broken skid steer. Plus I have to put my dump trailer in here somewheres, and I have a small equipment trailer for like tools. I also have a tool trailer, that white enclosed trailer that you guys saw, so that has to go over here. So I think there's enough room because I got about 100 feet altogether. So I also determined that that trailer can stay there, but everything from the other side of that trailer over to the woods line that way and that way and that way all has to go. Everything has to go, but that trailer can stay, which saves me like at least a day worth of work between moving it and all the scrap steel that I have underneath. Well, it's not scrap steel, but it's steel that I save for working on stuff. And then there's also plumbing stuff. And then I got stuff like ladders, power trowels, concrete blankets, brake, windows, more ladders. Just all kinds of stuff over here that I need to find a home for. So I think for all the stuff that I just mentioned, I'm gonna clear from right beside of this trailer, just this swath right here. This is where all that stuff can go. Like from where I just cleared over to the trailer, I'll clear all that, probably just use the skid steer for that. And then all that stuff that I just showed you over there can go here. And all that stuff is gonna have a home once I have the garage built, because I'm gonna build some lean-tos to the side of the garage, and that's where a lot of that stuff is gonna go. But that's like a next year thing. So for now, we gotta get it out of there. I want lots of room around the slab to work for concrete trucks, dump trucks, excavators, and then once it's built, I want the telehandler to be able to move around pretty easily. So there's a lot of stuff over here that we gotta clean up. But everything that you saw so far is almost a day worth of work. So we're gonna be on this for several more days. We got a lot of scrap steel in here, some junk vehicles. But once we get into this spot here, we can start making some big space really soon. I cleared this little spot over here. We're just gonna put all the wood for now. That's like sawmill wood, that's good. Anything bigger than 2x4, that's like anything 4 feet or so, that's less than 4 feet. LVLs, scaffolding. I have some trusses here. We got a bunch of jet skis. Lots and lots of stuff around here. So I know some people will probably find this pretty interesting. It's also interesting to be able to clean this up because this has been a big thorn in my side for a while. It's getting pretty late in the day, and I think one thing I could do to make a lot of difference real quick is bring the excavator up here. This is all the stuff that I pushed up with the dozer. You can't really even see it on camera, it just doesn't do justice on camera, but there's a lot of fill here. I think if I bring the excavator, sit on the top, and scoop that up and bring it around behind and spread it over there, I could gain another 30 feet by 60 feet. That's a massive amount of space that I could gain in like an hour, because that's about what I have until dark. So let me just get on that. All right, so we got this spot cleared out here. I got this flattened out, graded a little bit. So the idea now is I have a small tool trailer I'm gonna put right here. It's only like maybe 20 feet long or so. Put that right here, about 16 to 20 feet away from this trailer. And in between these two trailers will be a spot where we can put ladders, scaffolding, windows, just a few things that we have over here. Like that stuff right there. You can go in between those two trailers. That way, the only place that you can see it is directly that way or directly that way, which there's nothing that way, so that's not a concern. The trailers will block it on both sides, simply because it's just a temporary thing. It's not going to stay permanently there. I'm going to have a home for every single thing out here soon, but for now, it's out of sight, out of mind. That's the trailer that I'm talking about. That trailer eventually is going to get out of here. This one too. I might replace it with a shipping container. I think it looks a little bit nicer. That has a lot of tools in there that I don't use too often but are still important, so that can't go right now. And believe it or not, there's not even enough room in this trailer to put that stuff in here. So I want to get that moved over to there right now, but there's still a bunch of stuff in the way, so we got to clean all this up first. there's a whole pile of dirt underneath of it. Alright, so we got all the machines out of here that I wanted to put over there. So now at this point we're looking at a bunch of junk vehicles, a bunch of jet skis, buckets, scrap steel, concrete bucket, stuff like that. So I was going to take the time and load up a bunch of these vehicles and bring them to get scrapped, but right now that's going to be like a day or more worth of time, and I don't have the luxury of that day or more of time. We are getting really cold here, and as it stands right now, when I pour this slab, it's probably going to be freezing at night. So I just can't afford to take any more time for anything that I need. You know what really killed me was I just did like 2.5, almost 3 weeks worth of work to my pickup truck to swap the frame out. That's my old frame right there. It was just nothing but patches and pieces, and it was getting really bad to the point where there was no frame left. It was just all the patchwork that I did. So I had to swap it to this frame off of this truck. So I basically cut it. You can see how I cut. And this is not the frame from this truck. This is from my truck, but I cut the exact same cut there. So you can see I 415'd it to make it last a lot longer. The frame wasn't perfect, but it wasn't really rotted, so it was pretty pitted, but it wasn't really rotted. But then I put this in here over top of that. I put the frames together, I welded them, and then I put this plate over top. And you never want to do a straight vertical weld like that, so you always want to go out like that, and that's how I put it together. So it looks really nice, and I did a lot of work, and while I was at it, I put a new bed on here instead of the wood that I had before. And then I did a diamond plate rear end here. It's actually reinforced too with square stock right there, so it's actually like a bumper, and that's just temporary. I had to order another light like this, so that's just temporary there. But so I spent almost 3 weeks doing this, and now I'm like really out of time. I wish I would have never done that, but it really needed to be done. I couldn't even tow with it the way it was. My fuel tank was like falling down. It didn't even have this cross member on it anymore. And somewhere's back here, there was a giant crack, like all the way through the frame. It was about to break in half. And actually up here behind these cab mount gussets, I guess you can call them, it was completely rotted behind here. So I had to cut these gussets out from the sides, weld up some plates in there, and then I actually double reinforced it with 2 different plates. And then I had to weld these back on both sides, inside and outside. So there's like a massive amount of work done to this truck in the last couple weeks, and I don't even really use this pickup truck, but it had to be done. So if it wasn't for doing all that work on my pickup truck, I'd be in good shape right now. I would have already had this slab poured. But right now, I don't even have enough concrete blankets to do this project. So I actually have to buy a whole bunch more. Because I did have enough concrete blankets at one point, but then I used them up on my roof and they got torn up from the wind and stuff. So most of them are no good anymore. So back to the point of this whole story, I don't have time to go to the scrapyard. So right now, what I'm gonna do is take all these vehicles that are scrap and even the ones that I wanna save, and I'm gonna put them all back there. There's like a road back there. And there's 2 stone walls. And I own between the 2 stone walls. But then the other side of that stone wall is somebody else's property. But there's no houses on that property. It's part of the property that's across the road. So right here, I just cleared out a little spot with the skid steer, and I got like at least 100-foot road right here where I can just put one after another these vehicles. It's really unfortunate because I could get these out of here and get some money for it, but I just don't have the time. So these 2 vehicles are junk. This one can go right to the junkyard. That one, I want to take some parts off that because the transmission is still good on this, as well as some other various parts, and the tires are good, and I have the other tires. So if I had a day worth of time, I could take all the parts I need off this, but again, I don't have that day. So then I have that Dodge Ram 2500, which I bought for the plow and for a few things like the doors and some quarter panels and stuff to put on this truck. This truck, it's a shame that it looks like this right now because I have hundreds of hours of time into this truck restoring it, and I'm to the point now where it actually functions, but I need to actually do some body work and then put a bed on it and stuff. But this is a 12 valve and it's only got 65,000 miles on it, and it's in really good shape as far as the engine. I also did a automatic to manual swap. I put an NV4500 in it, and the NV4500, I rebuilt it. It came out of a Chevy and it was blown up. It had some bearings that were bad and some gears that were bad, so I actually rebuilt that, converted it to a Dodge NV4500, which is a bigger input shaft and a couple other things. And then I also did the 5th gear nut fix and a few other things on it. So that transmission is like brand new, ready to go. And I really want to fix this truck up as soon as possible. So as soon as I get this garage done, this is probably going to go in there, and it's not going to come out until it's on the road and ready to drive. It'll be like a service truck. I'll probably put a welder on it and have a nice flatbed with maybe a giant toolbox on it and maybe a even bigger fuel tank than I have now. And so that'll be just for like repairing things out in the field and stuff. But anyways, then I got my brother's old car that can be junked, and I got an old Chevy 3500 dump truck, which I was using to plow the driveway with, but I don't really need that anymore, so that's pretty much junk. So we got to get all these out of here and put them over there. And it's unfortunate because I can still see them back there, but I'm gonna have to deal with it for a little while. Once this slab is poured, I'm not in any rush to build the rest of it, because that can happen at any time. It doesn't matter how cold it is. So at that point, I'll probably start doing things like taking junk cars and bringing them to the scrapyard. But for right now, we just desperately need to get going on the site work and get this slab poured. So I guess since I have to put these back there single file, I want to put them back in a way where the first one I put back there is the last one that I'm going to touch. So in other words, the scrap stuff, which I'm going to touch the soonest, is going to stay in the back, and things that I'm going to save are going to go towards the front. So this one would be the one that I'm going to save. So we'll put that one in there first. That should run. I don't even know if it has a battery, and I can't even get to the front of it right now anyway, so I got to drag it out. And then after that will be that truck, because I still need to take parts off of that.
not the end of the world. Yes, don't drop me, that would suck. Interior cam.
Hey, I know the problem. You ain't got no gas.
Yep. Another problem is it's automatic. This is what the Carolina squat feels like. One way to close the hood. To get in there and steer it, aren't I?
Well, can we get the window down, or are they power windows?
I think the power windows.
We can just go slow and you can shift it from outside. Want me to just blow the door off?
Come over here and get a good hot sun chop on this door.
Huh?
Come over here and get a good hot sun chop on this door and take it right off.
I wonder if the doors are something I wanted off of that. I can't remember.
I said this thing might even start up if you had a battery in it. Oh yeah, that's right. It's a Chevy.
What the hell was that?
That was a walnut falling and hitting something.
Alright, so we did more work today, but it was kind of miserable because it rained a lot. But we made some progress here. I got all my equipment lined up here. The only thing I'm missing is 2 more skid steers and the gas boom lift. Just because that's next to my house and I'm using it. One skid steer isn't here, the other is next to my garage. I'm working on it. This one's the one I'm currently doing work on. This is one of those mono booms where it's just a boom on one side. So you can get in and out like an excavator from the side. So I think I got a hole in the piston, but that's for a whole nother video. I got this whole area nice and neat and organized. Skid steer attachments, crane attachment, skid steer attachment, excavator attachment. I got the telehandler attachment. There's like a few $1,000s worth of metal roofing there. Ladders, windows, concrete mixer, air compressor, chipper. I got my aluminum brake up there. Still not quite done with this because this is all just scrap steel and plumbing pipes and conduit and stuff like that. But that is for a different time. I got the guys inside the trailer making a little bit more space in there. I got my 2 power trowels, tracks for the wheeled skid steer. So this is the site right here, 40 by 60. So I've been going back and forth about how I wanted to set up this building, and I can't get it perfectly the way I want, but it should do most of what I want. So basically the 60 foot is that way, 40 feet is that way, and the front's going to be right here. So I have this big wide open space here for turning around a trailer and backing it into there. The idea with this 40 by 60 is that I want to be able to park anything that fits on the road into that garage. So I'm going to have a 14 by 14 door on one side and then like an 8 by 8 door on the other side. The 8 by 8 door is just going to be for working on smaller stuff like personal vehicles and pickup trucks and stuff, and that one's going to have a lift. And then the 14 by 14 side is going to be free all the way back to the end, so it's going to be 60 feet long, and you'll have like at least 20 feet wide. Actually, you'll have like 30 feet wide. And there's going to be no lift there because I want to be able to pull in big equipment there and stuff, and with the lift there you're kind of limited to what you can put there. So I wanted to put like a 20,000 pound lift there, but at the same time then you got to work around it when you bring big pieces of machinery in, like if I bring a crane in there, if I bring excavator in or something, or a lowboy semi truck, then the lift is going to be in the way. So I decided to not have a lift on that side. I do want to set up a crane trolley so that I can lift things up, take engines out, stuff like that, take a boom off an excavator. So on the one side with the 8 by 8 door, it's only going to go about halfway, maybe 30 feet, just big enough to work on like a small trailer and a car and a pickup truck and stuff like that. And then for the other remaining part of that whole space, I'm going to have a mezzanine. So then underneath of the mezzanine is going to be tools, tool storage. There's probably going to be a couple rooms, and then up on the mezzanine there's going to be a bathroom, like an office, and then there's going to be another room or two for storage, because I want to be able to store like plumbing parts, electrical parts, have it all separated, because I just have so much stuff accumulated that I need to be able to store things separately from each other without like piling everything all in one place. I have an entire camper that's just filled with electrical and plumbing stuff. So while it's nice to have all that stuff, because I can pretty much do a plumbing job without even having to go to a store, it is also cumbersome to have to dig through all that stuff to find what I need. Whereas if I have a room with a whole bunch of shelves on it, then I can separate things. 2-inch pipe, 3-inch pipe, 1.5-inch pipe, electrical boxes, electrical breakers, outlets, switches, stuff like that. It can all be separated. So I do have a geothermal unit that I picked up a long time ago. It's not the newest and greatest, but it's a 5-ton system, which is probably barely enough for what I need, but it should do the trick. So we're going to put radiant heat in the slab, and eventually we're going to get that geothermal system hooked up, probably drill a well for it. So let's talk about the scrap parts and pieces back here. It kills me to put this back here instead of just bringing it to the scrapyard, but like I said, I didn't have the time, and I'm glad that I made that decision, because the more I started bringing the scrap out, the more I realized that this is more like 2 or 3 days worth of scrapping between sorting it all out, taking off parts that I need from various vehicles, and then transporting it all and unloading it at the place, loading it up. It's like a 3-day process. So I'm glad I didn't try to do it right now, because I thought maybe a day, but there goes, you know, almost a whole nother week by doing that. So I'm really glad that I didn't go ahead and do that. And now when I do it, I'm not in a rush. I can take the parts that I need without rushing things. But every time I walk over here, I can instantly see the stuff in the woods. So it's not just gonna be something that I do next year. It's definitely gonna be something that I need to do as soon as possible, because I don't like looking at that. And it's kind of good that it's visible, because it's a reminder every time I go over here that I need to get that done. Maybe I'll make a video about it, I'm not sure. So I still need to make another run to the dump for this stuff here. This is all wood that I'm going to try to use on this building, between forming the concrete and bracing for the building and stuff like that. I got rebar. Concrete blankets, I might need to use those, so I'm going to keep those around. I was going to throw them all out, but now I'm thinking I might need to use them. So if anybody is interested, I have a few things that I want to sell. I just want to get them off of my back, because I really don't have the time to work on them. That boom lift I want to sell, because I got a new one lined up that's diesel. And you guys know I hate gas engines. That track loader has a lot more work needed than I wanted to do. So I might sell that, or I might keep it for parts. I don't know. This trencher I just bought recently. It's got a gas Wisconsin engine in it. I'm almost kind of not interested in that anymore. I just don't know if I really have the time for it. If it had a diesel engine, I wouldn't be saying that, but then if anybody's interested, I got this John Deere 575. It's not a 675B, it's a 575. This is going to need lower bearings, and you need to remove the engine to do it, because there's no oil pan access. So I don't know, I might give up on that. I started to make a video about it, but I don't know if I had the time. This Komatsu, I picked this up for pretty cheap. This machine has a lot of capacity to it. I think it's like 8,000 pound machine, and then it can lift like, I don't know, 3,000 pounds or something. It's pretty good for a wheel loader. But this came with no engine in it. I have the engine, but the block has a hole in it. But this is one of those things where somebody else disassembled the whole thing, and with all the electronics out, and I just don't know how it was disassembled. I don't know how things came out, and I thought it was a great idea to put off to the side for a few years, and then down the road I'll do. But I don't think I'm gonna have the time anytime soon for this, especially since it was already a part. I think this is a good parts machine for somebody. So let me know if you guys are interested in any of this stuff, especially these 3 things here. I'd love to get rid of them, and if somebody's local to upstate New York, they might be able to come pick these up. This is all pick up with a pickup truck and a trailer type of thing. Like I said, I'm not really sure about that track loader. I might want to use it for parts, but probably not. I'm not sure yet. That one I'll probably keep around to bring up north. And I still have my 675B, which is not here. And I'm not even thinking of selling this stuff to get the money. It's more just to get it off my hands, so that I don't have to worry about another project that I have to do. And also the space. The space is kind of limited here. So, but anyways, that's it for this video, guys. So on the next video of my garage, we're going to be doing the site work, getting the slab prepared and ready for concrete. And then probably the next one will be actually pouring the concrete, and we got to do the radiant heat and all that stuff, and pour footings for lifts and crane trolleys and stuff like that. So I'll see you guys on those videos.